Hello, everybody, and thank you again, Dan. My name is Brian of My Online Toolbox, and I run the My Online Toolbox education series targeting contractors, construction contractors, to specifically help them learn about the basics of marketing and website inbound lead generation education. Sometimes the phrase you might hear out there is called SEO, search engine optimization, but there's really two independent topics: marketing in general and website inbound lead generation education. And we have a series, basic and advanced, and I've had clients tell me that we tend to be like a Rosetta Stone for languages, but we're targeting contractors to introduce them to all of the concepts to have their online world generating them quality leads and teaching the basics of marketing through the website components that will help people find them online. And today, what we're going to do is target using your images to plan for more quality leads. And where we're going to begin is to first make sure that marketing in general is usually this area of a business that's put to the side, and especially when companies are busy, they many times forget about marketing altogether, and they kind of wait for a certain specific time of year that they find ideal to kind of jump on the marketing bandwagon. They give it a little bit of attention, then walk away, and that's not marketing. And so what we do is we try to find ways to allow you to first have fun being a marketing machine using the jobs at hand today. And separately, we like people to make sure that they narrow their opportunities, not just for leads, but to target quality leads and get rid of the tire kickers. And last but not least, we combine it to make sure that you're mastering the basics, you, the construction owner, where you know just enough for either you and your web person to stay on track. And that's a mystery many times of what is the basics. And that's how we're going to introduce a set of them today, starting with your images. What happens is, when you're thinking about a website or any type of marketing activity, you have to define what is your target market. And many times, it's very hard for someone to say, what's the difference between how do customers find us and what image are we projecting when they do find us? And it becomes a little bit like the horse in front of the cart or the cart in front of the horse, because there's only so many hours in the day for someone to think, and defining your target market is not as easy as one may think. So what we're trying to do today is have you understand that it's easy for you to hit two birds with one stone, where you're able to make it easier for people to find you, as well as simultaneously projecting a powerful image for your services once they do find you. When you search, and I'm just using a quick little search window up here, and if you typed in more quality contractor leads, you'll have to notice that start paying attention to those options up on top, where it will say web, images, video, maps, and many other permutations of search results. The first thing is to remember that what you're seeing up on top is not identical for everybody else. There's an assumption that if you and I both type the same thing in, that we're going to get the same results, and that is the furthest thing from the truth. There's a lot of permutations of what goes on to what do you see, and the search engine companies are paying attention to the habits of you on your device, on you on multiple devices, whether you logged in or not. And so what you have to realize is when you go to do something and show something, whether it's by words, pictures, or video, depending on the consumer's habits of how they've searched before, maybe there is a person out there who looks at pictures first before reading. Maybe another person reads before looking at pictures. Maybe another person looks at videos first. You have to think about your website and take a step back and say, is it diverse enough to handle the different types of personalities of the people that are out there searching? And for now, we're just going to target the images as an option. What happens is every job you're working on allows you to tell a story where you can get testimonials, you can get pictures, and you could possibly even get video. And combined, that helps you elaborate and express what the job details are, and it also helps you further express who specifically is the customer and what's the location that that work has been done. Literally, one of the biggest weaknesses with contractor websites is not telling people what they do, but really telling the search engines where they do it. Unlike if you went to type in McDonald's, I'm just making it up, and you're driving with your truck, there's a quick assumption that you're looking to go eat and go to a McDonald's, so it starts mapping quickly based on you going to the McDonald's location. But as a construction contractor, you're not expecting people to come to you, you're going to them. So you have to take a step back and say, how does the search engine really know that you're willing to drive to town 1, 2, and 4, and maybe you don't want to go to town 3 just because it's geographically closer. Maybe it's not economically the ideal place for you to be getting leads. So we need to combine all of this information and make sure that your website clearly projects an image of what you're doing and where you do it. And in order to do this, what we're doing is reminding you, right now, there's a battle between who is going to have your content and how is it going to be used once it gets there. My entire life, when you look at the price of the classes, it's unbelievable that it's not a monetary conversation. It's a time conversation. The lead generation companies know that the vast majority of contractors are sooner going to try to shortcut the terminology and the understanding of marketing, and they're going to throw quick darts against the wall in hopes of getting a lead, but they're not going to strategize for what is the plan 3 months out, 6 months out, and 1 year out. That is, with limited education, how you could be getting sustainable quality leads over a long period of time, as opposed to volume of leads in the short term that may or may not really be the type of lead that you were looking for. So what we're going to do today is make sure you have a quick understanding of the different permutations of what makes a website generate leads, and then target the pictures, which is what the main product that you're using right now. Whenever you look at a web page, many times you'll see a word that might look a little bit different. That is called a hyperlink, and that is helping the search engines realize that within all of this text on your page, this particular bathroom remodeling, because there's a hyperlink to another page called bathroom remodeling, that is called anchor text, and that tells the search engines that in the mix of all of these words out there in this particular page, bathroom remodeling happens to be an important phrase, and that the website is getting credit towards those specific keywords. But perhaps you might have a video, and in this particular case, the person had a homeowner doing a video testimonial, and the video was nice, but more important for me is to make sure that whatever you post on your website, it's helping you generate more future activities. So we ensure that they just don't throw it onto YouTube quick as possible to brag about it. We rather have the phrases and the words be in a very specific order. In this particular case, the person was concentrating on kitchen remodeling in wherever Monita is. Forgive me, I don't know what the state is at the moment, but it's targeting to help people at the video level learn about kitchen remodeling in this particular location. But then comes images. So I met up with Dan. I've heard a lot about him over the years, and I know he knows his stuff. And as we were trying to organize this, I had to work with Dan in a manner that allowed me to make believe that even though I'm prejudiced towards who Dan is and his company, I wanted to make believe that I'm not prejudiced, just like Google. Google, it's an algorithm. There's no emotion. It's just based on fact and volume and organization. So when Dan sent me this picture, I looked at it, and it's actually pretty cool, other than the first thing I thought was, wow, he sent me this picture, and I can't for the life of me, before I opened it up, know what's it about. And that's how Dan and I started to get closer on these topics. He just sent me 4 beautiful pictures, and in my mind, I thought he was trying to show off something in masonry and some type of specialty masonry, but that's it. So after Dan and I spoke, I found out a little bit more about this picture, but I educated him, because if this same picture was put on a website, other than it being pretty, it would never help generate future opportunities, which is what my job is to do for my customers. So I took a step back and I reminded him that, remember, yes, he did project a powerful image. I had no idea for what service, and it definitely was not going to make it easier for a customer to find me using that image in the future. So we took a step back and realized, well, when I look at this picture, I could easily do the same thing with that picture. and just make that picture, this little sketch that my daughter did, generate more lead opportunities that would not really represent what a custom home builder could do, but the picture before would allow me to project a powerful image only if somebody found me. So we have to figure out a way how to take that first picture and make it equal the power of what I could do with a sketch to generate the leads. So remember, what can I possibly teach you in a short amount of time that allows you to remember this repetitively, keep it easy, and enjoy it along the way, so marketing in general is just a piece of cake for you. Content, 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 and how your website is unique over your competitors will allow you to stand out, especially when you emphasize your job details as well as customer information. This was another picture that Dan sent me, and well, actually everyone here on the phone will probably know more about these words than me, but the other file was a watercolor with line examples that he showed. He gave me another picture that was a technical illustration example, and then the third was a ray trace render example. And what I wanted to do was now say, well, let's take this original picture and say, if you were a marketing person, how would I combine these 4 simple pictures that Dan sent me and make it become an extension of my website to help me generate leads in the future, and when they find me, that they're also impressed with what they see for my image. So what I did was I said, let's go and create a simple little web page, a fantasy web page. And it starts off with myconstructioncompany.com. And what you have to remember, when you go to look at your website, please do this later today, up above, right where the tab is, in this case, I'm going to create a page, and it's going to be targeting one topic and one topic only, new custom home building. And that title tag, that little window up there, you would not believe the repetitiveness of mistakes that contractors make, or the website people where they passively put information in that little window, and you have to treat that little window. It's called a title tag. Every individual page should have a unique title tag, and you have to think of it along the lines of every one of your individual web pages is its own little book. You're going to Barnes & Noble, and did you put it in the right aisle? Yes or no? And if it's in the wrong aisle and somebody comes walking into Barnes & Noble looking for fiction, but you happen to have your book in drama by mistake, no one will ever find you. So this is the beginning of realizing a title tag. There's actually 5 things to know about that little new custom home builder area up on top, but I just need you to understand the power of needing to have it done correctly. So I take Dan's picture, and instead of me just having it sit there, I wanted to remind you that Dan originally sent it to me with the file name actual.jpg. I would have preferred, before I even opened it and looked at it, it would have been great. In this case, I'm in South Florida, in the Fort Lauderdale area. I would have liked it to have been something like a file name of new custom home Fort Lauderdale.jpg. Google does the same exact thing, and not just Google, by the way, Bing, Yahoo, and any other alternative search engine that might be scanning your website, looks at everything. They don't understand what a picture is. So the more you structure everything from files, videos, words, documents, the better. First thing I would have done was have the file name changed. Separately, similar to the way we have this title on the top left-hand corner where it says New Custom Home Builder, I would have changed it to say new. Behind that picture, there's an equal feature. It's called an associated text. Sometimes it's called alt text. I would make sure that it wasn't blank. I would make sure that it didn't have the file name, the original file name of actual.jpg, and I had the right words to say this is a new custom home in Fort Lauderdale. And then right below the picture, I would have a small human description saying this is a new custom home in Fort Lauderdale with European masonry finish, which is what Dan explained to me when I was focusing in on the masonry side. He explained to me what it was, and that was that's the limited side of the picture. The real main emphasis is new custom home. I haven't even said a word yet on the page, but based on the title up on top and based on the 3 permutations of Google learning about this picture, already it's a foot in the door in the direction of giving credibility that my construction company does something with new custom homes. And then, of course, I added a little bit of text just to make a point that we're a Fort Lauderdale builder of new custom homes, and we specialize in all forms of residential houses. And then as I scroll down, I mentioned a little phrase saying we work with you from vision to completion. We will begin the technical illustration similar to the following. And then as on this page I was creating, I would insert this picture that Dan gave me as the second picture. But the first thing I would do is make sure that Dan sent it to me as technicalillustration.jpg. I would have had the file name first say new custom home technicalillustration.jpg. And then the same thing with the associated text. I would have a permutation again with new custom home. I don't want to be found based on the words technical illustration. I want to be found based on permutations of new custom home building. And then goes the same thing with putting a little bit of wording below it with our technical illustration before building a new custom home. I would continue on and then just write many things go into building a new custom home, and then say something about the watercolor with lines example, repeat myself. I'm not going to say it word for word now. I think you get the point, where I would have changed the file name to, instead of it being watercolor with lines, to new custom home watercolor. Same thing with an associated text, a little bit of words under the bottom. And then I would have a page that would have this story about this particular home, showing how we started, the concepts, and maybe there would be many other permutations you would have with the different versions of what Chief Architect is able to produce. But it's allowing you to take your end result of your current jobs and helping you build upon your daily story and create your ongoing marketing image for the next person who's going to decide to look for a new custom home 3 months down the road and 1 year down the road. I would love to have you end the page with something like this, where you do something where my construction company did a wonderful job building our home, and of course they were ahead of schedule and under budget, possibly even have a video emphasizing, again, the main keywords of this particular page. And this is an example of just another remodeler that I did, that I borrowed some of his stuff. He said it was okay to show an example where he did have a particular page for window replacements, where he had a nice title tag. He had all of the anchor text having variations of the word windows. His pictures had the same variations of windows as well as his video. This particular client we took it from, this page was done 3 years ago, and it is amazing how many people find this page when they're in Manhattan, Kansas, looking for a window guy over and over and over again. It's because the quality of the content has been perfected to target a small set of words in a very specific location with all of the permutations of how somebody may be searching for you at any given time. And make believe, as a good example, just to take a step back, if somebody was looking at videos before they even thought about your service, and they still happen to be on the video tab in their search, and they go to type in a word, Google is trying to help, not you, but the searcher, find the relevant information that the person's searching for. So if the person was in a video search last, and maybe he was looking at a rock and roll video for all you know, or something like that, even though his search pattern was saying that he looks at videos, so if you have a web page that's targeting him thinking about videos as a potential, and Google sees that, wow, if this guy jumps around from words to pictures to video, and you have all three, your pages get more highly ranked simply because you give the answer to the potential visitor, and Google's attempting to be 1 millisecond ahead of the searcher, and you're helping Google make that decision advantageously towards your inbound opportunities. So your plan is to focus in on quality, not volume. And I repeat that. Focus on the quality of your future leads, not just the quantity. And because of the effort, from what I understand, the way people tell me about the product that you're using, that there's so much effort to master it and leverage it to its full advantage, why not just as a byproduct, leverage those results to generate future business 6 months down the road and narrow the opportunities to quality leads and get tire kickers. When I say goodbye to you, I luck out. Some of you I see some people sending some notes on my email or logging onto my website, which is great, but a bunch of you are going to maybe forget, which is going to be wrong. And I luck out because all of you, I have somebody who's going to help remind you about me when we hang up the phone, and it's the lead generation companies that I hope will be motivating you. When you see a commercial, remember to get pictures for your own website. When you get an email solicitation, remember to get testimonials. And a phone solicitation should help you get videos. You have to remember that everybody is trying for you to sign up for a free trial and for you to load as much content as humanly possible. And then there's going to be a little checkbox that you agree to accept the terms and conditions. And I would like you to either read those terms and conditions or simply say no and don't accept the terms and conditions. Because when you look at the usage rights of your content, if you're not optimizing it already properly on your own website, trust me, every name that you could possibly ask me about and just say, did you ever hear of this company and that company? It really doesn't matter, because if you've given away the usage rights of your content, you really have to realize they're all in business to generate leads, and somebody has to pay for them. If you let your content be accessible to generate revenue for your competitor who's willing to spend you at any given time, you would be amazed about the permutations of how pictures, videos, and testimonials can be used against you if you're not the highest bidder for the advertising at any given time. So please just keep that in mind. Just by looking at the picture content alone, I only showed you 3 things that are easy for you to master repetitively, but there are many more that the lead gen companies are using, and they're all automatic, that as soon as you give them that picture, they hit the enter key, and automatically it's highly optimized to maybe get you a lead, but definitely get your competitor a lead if they're paying more than you at any given time. So content marketing is a game changer. You just need a simple plan. Have regular helpful content that's targeted to your audience. Keep your website fresh on a consistent basis. Doesn't need to be daily, but weekly and monthly is a prevailing goal to have. And just surround that content with marketing for search, that when you're loading it onto your website, it's just done strategically to target who you want to find you. I will never stop talking about the content being hyper-targeted to your audience based on service type and location, but I would like you to remember there is a question of who's your competition, and you really do have 3. You have direct competitors, which unfortunately I can't say anything about unless I knew who they were. You have indirect competitors, the lead gen folk that are going to try to get you under the auspice of the free sign-up to give away as much of your information for life as possible. And then comes your own complacency, which we're eliminating right now to introduce to website marketing philosophies. But you also have a great opportunity. I quickly scanned Dan's list, and I jumped on a few of the websites, and I see many people are all in this same boat, which is the vast majority of the people that you may be working with. Maybe it's an in-house programmer, maybe it's your wife, your daughter, your kid, or even another company. A lot of times, the website company is better at SEO, search engine optimization, than marketing. And that could be disastrous. You'll know, because if you're not generating the leads you expect, what's happening is that you have a tech person who really isn't versed in marketing and really understanding how to define your business. So they'll call themselves a marketing company, but it's better to just say, no, we're better at keyword analysis and web page tech terms, and we're not really able to help you grow your business outside of your website, other than the design. And right now what's happening is that it's called responsive web design. Every single person in a short amount of time, and it's less than a year or 2, must have their websites completely optimized to work in a desktop, the way you're mostly comfortable with seeing your websites, a smartphone, and also a tablet. And if you and your programmer learn just enough about how to implement with pictures, text, and videos, you can possibly retain your existing programmer to convert your sites to a responsive web design, or you might have to say nope, just like going from a rotary phone to the original flip phones to a smartphone to different versions of a smartphone. You're at that point now that if you are not responsive web design, you will not be found with the search engine algorithms, because they're looking at what you have Have you alerted the search engines exactly what you have? And based on the device that someone's holding, is it going to be cosmetically appealing to the eyeballs of the person who's looking for something? So you might have the most fantastic content-rich site that works great on a desktop, but it simply was not designed for a smartphone. Well, you're giving up almost 30 to 40% of all searches out there just because of somebody sitting in their bed with a phone and just casually typing in whatever your service is in your location, and you're not popping up solely because the person was on a different type of device that your website wasn't designed to appreciate. So in closing, hopefully you see how your pictures could now be taken from an existing job and packaged to be creating fresh content to your website. And when we're all done, I always tell people that when they see the price of the basic class, all you have to do is agree to give up 2.5 hours over a 1 month period to go in and out and walk yourself through pretty much at the same pace that I'm speaking, but very, very targeted. It's about 20, I think it's 27 or 28 individual topics that are right there in front of you. You could look at your own website, your competitor's website, and even know whether you really are designed to be found or not, independent of how pretty you think you look. And I encourage you to check that out, and whether it's to just be knowledgeable yourself or strengthen your relationship with your existing programmer or understand why the lead generation companies are bombarding you. Many of you don't realize that that bombardment happens because they see the activity surrounding your business that's not coming to you. And that's another thing to realize, that I've had people say, yeah, they call me daily. They know that the traffic is there because they see it, but they see it not coming to you. The last thing you want to do is let that opportunity go by and not even understand why is lead generation company so excited to try to sell you a lead, because your neon lights are shut off for your own business. So keep that in mind to just eliminate that and strategize whether you should enhance your own site or possibly even start fresh. And those lead generation guys are going to be battling for the money for the short term. My objective is to have you just take a break for a few hours to position for the long term. And again, my name is Brian from My Online Toolbox, with a quick summary to define what your target market is, with what are your services and where do you provide them. Ensure to get pictures, testimonials, and video, and please don't give this stuff away. It's too valuable to your own inbound opportunities and too valuable to the other guy who wants those opportunities that may or may not generate a lead to you. Take a moment to just understand the power of marketing in general. Use the lead generation companies to communications to help motivate you to do the right thing when we hang up the phone. Keep in mind, the search is independent of the image of what you project. And then visit my website, myonlinetoolbox.com, to either sign up for the classes or make contact with me for the advanced marketing planning that we do, that we also do consulting when somebody wants to do a real marketing plan, to say, let's take a step back. Let me understand exactly what do I do, where do I want to do it, who are my competitors, and how do I have to position everything from my website to my my Google lead, Google reviews, testimonials, videos, and Facebook. And there is strategies that allow you to leverage your own strengths while also being aware of what your competitors do well and what they don't do well for various reasons. I definitely want to do a shout out to Dan for the other people that are here, because I invited them and don't know who he is. Dan runs Chief Experts, and he handles all aspects of the education tools and support for the Chief Architect software, and I'm very happy that he gave me a moment to introduce you to Picture 101 Marketing Optimization. And again, my name is Brian of My Online Toolbox for both free, basic, and advanced online education, as well as diamond marketing planning if you'd like to be strategic over 3 months to plan out for the next couple of years of your marketing life. I'm here for that too. And Dan, thank you very much.
All right. Thanks, Brian. That was great. If I were doing a website today, which I do stuff on all the time, yeah, you got to be careful how you put your pictures online. So that was great information. And this lead gen stuff, if you guys go out and do a search for your name in your browser and see how many lead gen companies come up under your name, and that's what Brian's talking about. Don't give away your stuff to those people. because they're just trying to steal your money when you can do all of this stuff yourself. Would that be accurate, Brian?
Yes, but there's also two things for people to be aware. There are some lead generation results that are being created, that the landing pages are being created using public information where they'll say, learn all about Dan of Chief Architect, and we're going to talk about all of his prices and testimonials and more. And you land on that page, and as soon as you land on the page, it says, we are sorry, we don't have any information of Dan of Chief Architects because we don't have X, Y, and Z, but we do have this person as an alternative. Whenever you look at that person, they always have this whatever it is next to them, depending on the lead gen company.
Yeah.
They have it's basically a paid advertiser who's leveraging your name. And the question of the day is, did they use public information, or did they use information you provided and you gave them the right to market it to your competitor, to generate the lead for your competitor? And those are the ones that you would not believe, that you could find so many permutations of somebody's name and they don't even know it exists.
Exactly. That's why it's important to get your content online and keep it relevant and keep it so the search engines know exactly who you are. So when someone searches for your kind of stuff, you'll come up, not the lead gen companies.
And keep it close to heart. Just keep it where it takes you forever to create it. You don't need to be in a rush to give it away.
Right.
It's better to take 2 extra minutes and do the right thing for yourself rather than just throwing it all over the place and assuming that somehow is going to generate opportunities for yourself.
Right. And guys, keep in mind, a lot of you are really busy and you think you don't have time for websites and stuff right now. That's the perfect time to get your website going. Guys, we will have another recession. There will be another slowdown. You guys want to be, when someone searches for something, you want to be on the top of that list. If you're not on the first page, you're not going to get any calls. So now is the time to do this kind of stuff. Somehow figure out how you can get it done. It's all good. All right, Brian, we're going to move on. I appreciate it again, everybody. Brian, thanks again.
Okay, good luck, everybody. And all of you, thank you for giving me an opportunity to say hello to your group. And Dan, best wishes, and I'll join you in a future time.
Sounds good. Take care. Bye now.
Goodbye now.